Okay, Peter Hitchens, fact-checking Matt Hancock's figures on COVID-19 deaths among shop workers. Yeah, so justification for the masks in shops, and obviously this is, you know, I can't stress this enough. I have escaped the masks. I have escaped the masks, apart from, you know, now they're trying to get absolutely everybody to submit to the uniform of Big Brother in hot weather. Absolutely awful. Really awful. And it's just about, you know, humiliation. And I'm just not going to do it. I am not going to do it. I know I don't. I'm not saying to other people don't do it. You need to do what you got to do. What you got to do. Yeah. Obviously, you're not going to wear it. You know, if you don't have to. I mean, maybe I'll end up wearing it. Okay. I probably will. But I'm going to certainly try not to. It is all based, of course, on absolute, complete and utter nonsense. I mean, this is Matt Hancock's justification for. I mean, it tells an opposite tale. It tells the exact opposite story. Correction. Yeah, a technical error meant they duplicated the figure two data. Okay, so this is ridiculous what you're about to read here. One main point: a total of 4,761 deaths involving COVID-19 in the working age population. Okay, in that same period, over 6,500 people of that age group died from household related, you know, mishaps. Yeah, and it says here, very important, a total of 400 involving the COVID-19. Okay, so it's meaningless. It's totally meaningless after that point. You can put that for anything. 4,769 deaths for people that, you know, had a pint of beer the previous night if the pubs were open. I mean, it's just involving is nothing, you know, involving the common cold. People died, 4,761 people died involving the common cold, not of. So this is just total meaningless rubbish. And actually, when you put it in perspective, all they're doing, like I say, is they're just conning us based on natural morbidity rates. Don't forget, 1,600 people die a day naturally, you know, in the UK. So we've got here claims that shop workers are pretty badly hit. So 44 taxi drivers out of 100,000 died in that period, which is just completely natural, you know, natural morbidity rates. But we've got a report here that the highest amongst all of them were security guards working alone at night time. Yeah. How are they going to catch it then? So it actually disproves viral contagion, or certainly that there's a virus killing people. Yeah. Yeah, here it is. Look, compared with the rate among people of the same sex, men working in elementary occupations at the highest rate of death, with 39.7% deaths per 100,000 of the specific elementary occupations. Men working as security guards had the highest rate. Okay, 74 deaths per 100,000, 104 deaths. Yeah, security guards. Men working as security guards. When do security guards work? They work at night time mostly, don't they? You know, guarding empty properties where there's no one around, where there's no chance of you catching a virus. It's even Matt Hancock's evidence, you know, debunks the entire thing. It's just a mockery, absolute mockery. So Peter Hitchens has put here, should I be ruder in this article? Well, it depends, Peter, doesn't it? It depends who you want to help. If you want to help Matt Hancock and the political class, then, you know, put it for us in plain sight, but don't put any feeling behind it. Don't put any conviction behind it, and people will just ignore it. Like I said to you earlier today, it's like people hear your words, but it's like the words don't compute. You know, they just... Okay, so the information's there, yeah? But what this article needed to say is it needed to say Matt Hancock is inverting the truth to an opposite, and this is the biggest hoax in human history. Yeah, so security guards, there you go, folks. Security guards working alone at night time. That either proves two things, doesn't it? Either proves the viral contagion is a myth, or it proves the virus is a myth, or both. Yeah, 4,761 deaths were due to COVID 20 to 64 age group. Last year there were 6,500 deaths in the home due to domestic accidents. So more. What they're doing with these lockdowns is they're locking down areas. They're playing on our prejudices again with, in the same way they did with the ISIS attacks. You'll believe something, or you're more likely to believe something if they give you a narrative, and if that narrative plays to your prejudices or to most people's prejudices. So the narrative in lockdown in Leicester is the same as it is, from what I can gather, in places like Melbourne, where they're locking down the immigrant lower class communities. They're locking down Leicester, and then they're putting out, and Peter Hitchens did pick up on this, he did a good job, he said it was a diversion, this story. That there's 1,000 slaves or 10,000 sweatshop slaves working in Leicester. They can't speak English, they can't hear the warnings about face masks. They're all working in unacceptable, which is true, which is probably true. All that's probably true, and that is but it's a separate issue. This is a diversion story, and this story is intended not for people to go, oh, that's terrible. It's intended to play on our prejudice. If you go and read the Sun or the Daily Mail or something, everyone's going, oh yeah, it's the immigrants again. That's how they do it. That's how they keep us all conned, and they manipulate us and by our prejudices, but according to our prejudices, and it's very successful. It's just based on testing more. That's all it is. They've just tested more. They've tested more, and they're using that as justification for the lockdown in Leicester. And we've got a list now of all the other places that are close to being locked down. It's pretty sickening, I think is the right word to use. It's and it's nothing we can do about it. There's nothing we can do about it. I thought the mayor of Leicester may have some power to overrule the government, because I know he disagreed with the government decision, but obviously not. Yeah. Okay, so there's a Sky News report here. Sky News report. Coronavirus warning from Italy, effects of COVID-19 could be worse than first thought. Well, obviously, it's not going to be better. It's a multi-organ killer. So, and it makes you mad as well. So that could explain, what's going on with Matt Hancock and Boris and Nadine, and basically the entire Tory top rank all coming down with it. Is neurological disease can make people go, psychotic. So perhaps that's why Leicester's in a second lockdown, because there's no logical, rational reason for it. That's for sure. So if it's not a respiratory disease, if it's a multi-organ killer, it creates psychosis, insomnia, kidney disease, spinal infections, strokes, chronic tiredness, athlete's foot. No, I just made that up, but it may as well be everything. It is not a respiratory disease like any other coronavirus. I mean, we've had coronaviruses for a long time, haven't we? And has this always been the case with coronaviruses, that they do all these things that we don't know about? You get spots, everything, acne, that's coronavirus. So I don't know. I think that 100% died with chronic inflammation as well, bad diet and processed food and stuff. I think I look at this. We've got emergency reports coming in now of what areas are being threatened by the evil ones to go into a new lockdown. My internet's so slow. So anyway, Sky News there really whipping up the fear. If the truth is coming out that it's 0.001% fatality rate, then they've got to come up with something else, haven't they? It makes us mad or something, or I don't know. They could make up anything, couldn't they? They could just make up absolutely anything, and most people would buy it, unfortunately. Yeah. Okay, so the advice from Italy: simply don't get infected. Whatever you do, take all measures possible not to get infected, because you could end up with psychosis and multi-organ failure and mania, all sorts of forms of mania, like wearing a mask. The situation is we're under lockdown until a vaccine is found. I mean, a form of lockdown, which is masks and this sort of oppression, which is, I mean, we are under the boot, under the cosh, until this vaccine's coming. Another thing, of course, Boris going around with a mask on. Didn't he allegedly have coronavirus? So what's he wearing a mask for? Matt Hancock, he had it without any symptoms, but neither of them are remotely interested in, you know, finding out why. Both from the same class, same sort of age group. One was apparently almost dead, and the other one made an incredible recovery, as per his puppet in the 2012 Olympic Games opening ceremony. We had a blue skull cap on. I've got to get to the bottom of that blue skull cap. It definitely means something that I don't know about. I think I've heard something about it before. Okay, so yeah, and of course money. If this virus is so highly contagious, money's been passed around now for quite a long time, and you know, we'd have all caught it from money. I've been using money. You know, I've been taking no precautions whatsoever. I'm fine. I'm okay. So, yeah. Yeah, all puppets, by the way. These people, 46 down, 8 up, so I'm pleased about that. It's not a lot, I know, but yeah, they're all puppets reading the script, and no sooner as you know, France says they're going to do something, or we say we're going to do something, a couple of days later the same thing will happen everywhere. You know, they're all being told what to do by the controllers, by the higher powers, which of course are the 3-2 people, the same people that did 9/11 and all do all the tyranny, but they have co-opted in, you know, the communists, the Fabians. Yeah, and I forgot to mention, of course, the Freemasons have thrown out Dolan's case. You know, it was never going to get anywhere through a Masonic court system, and that's something else we've got to sort out. But just got an alert through. Winter's coming. Yeah, thanks for reminding me. And we're going to get lockdowns in the winter, we're being told here. So those cold, dark, lonely nights, something to look forward to. We'll be all isolated with these lot playing mind games on us again, unless we can stop it somehow.